TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Well, there's a party each and every year on Christmas Eve, where the fun and cocktail shrimp don't seem to end. Clark and Ralphie taking turns on the TV screen, laughing, singing, yelling with all of our friends. Well, it's Christmas, and let the parties go spread the holiday cheer. 'Cause it's Christmas. Oh, it's the best time of the year.
Hey, Dylan.
If you,
You
like
to
walk with
tomatoes.
Or wait, it's waltz with tomatoes, right? If you like to waltz with tomatoes. If a squash could make you smile. If you like
It's waltz
to-
here. It was talk earlier.
Oh,
waltz with
waltz with
potatoes.
potatoes.
Up
Up
and
and
down
down
the
the
produce
produce
aisle.
Have we got a show for you?
Bum, bum, bum. Veggie Tales. Veggie Tales. Veggie Tales. Veggie Tales. All right.
So we it is well documented that you've grown up Christian.
I grew up in a Christian household watching this shit all the time.
I went to Catholic school for 9 years. I would say that this was much more of a product of me watching stuff at the school. This was also like my grandmother would buy me these VHS tapes, and I fucking love them. Like I love these VHS tapes.
So here's the
as a
thing I'm going to
kid.
say about Veggie Tales.
Yeah.
Veggie Tales is probably the best Christian children's content that's ever been created.
Oh, 100%.
It's so, I mean, there's a part of me that always feels like, oh God, it's the Jesus-y part. Like when it happens now, but like the humor is so good throughout it. I wrote so many quotes.
Oh God, dude, the Bob quote when he's stuck in the fucking snow.
I
What
wrote
did he
that
wanna do?
verbatim. I
What
wanted
did
to
he
play
wanna-
Mousetrap.
He's
You
like,
roll the dice,
Mousetrap.
you
They're
move
like,
your mice,
what?
no one gets hurt.
Yep, I love that line. Mousetrap. What? I wanted to play Mousetrap. You move the mice and no one gets hurt.
Even the very
So
first line of this special is this grandfather reading his story to his granddaughter, and he ends it. He's ending the story, and he goes, and then the pig and the giant lizard brought the boy back to his family at the bowling alley, and everybody was happy.
It's so like absurd, but it's hilarious. Like the fucking. We're just gonna sit here and say quotes from it. I love it so much. What is it? Billy has more toys than us. Who's Billy? I don't know.
I don't know, but he has more toys
He has
than me.
more toys than me.
So basically the setup of this is that it's a grandfather
Yes.
telling his granddaughter the true story of how a toy came to town and saved Christmas. And he's a mail delivery guy, so he's talking about how he knew of this town from delivering mail, and that's when we get the best song in the whole episode. I can't
What was
believe
the
it's
first one?
Christmas.
Oh,
This
yeah,
song
yeah,
is
yeah.
such a fucking bop. It's like
Yeah.
I can't believe it's Christmas. Oh boy, I hope I'm getting something. Can't believe it's Christmas. Oh boy, it's finally here. It's like it's just so fucking catchy.
Because this was like a Christmas special, as a kid, I always thought that this one was like longer than the other ones for some reason.
It's like maybe
about-
2
yeah.
minutes longer. It's
Exactly. It's only the 6th episode of the show.
really.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's true or if that's like production order. This took
Yeah,
longer
I
for
don't
them
know.
to make.
This was
but I
right
mean-
after Dave the Pickle.
So
Dave and the Giant Pickle.
So the thing with VeggieTales was like it wasn't a legit TV show for
No.
a long time. It was just every month they would drop a new VHS tape off at like the Christian bookstore or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's delivering the toys. They sing, "I Can't Believe It's Christmas." All the kids cannot wait to get toys, and then they watch a commercial. It's the mean Mr. Nezer, who is a toy factory owner dressed as Santa, talking about the true meaning of Christmas. And he goes, he says, are you having the "I don't know what I want for Christmas" blues? Well, maybe you want a toy with a fully functional buzzsaw built into its left arm, which is Buzzsaw Louie, the hottest toy that Christmas. And there's a disclaimer at the end of this commercial that made me laugh, and then I remembered that it actually plays into the plot line, where he's like, "Just have your mommy and daddy call us and order it, and one of our delivery penguins will bring it right to your house." And then showing like the delivery penguin, and it's just like, "Delivery's not available to Pugsleyville due to the collapse of the Pugsleyville Bridge." It's like, but then we get the biggest downer of the songs in this special, as Buzzsaw Louie comes to life and sings the song "Grumpy Kids" about how there has to be more to Christmas than wanting toys while staring at a star.
It was that moment where I was like, "Oh, that's right. This is a Christian thing."
Exactly.
Where I'm like strapped in. I'm like, dude, this is funny. It's got some great songs. What are we doing? And then Buzzsaw Louie has his Linus moment very early on. Where it's like,
You're like, ugh.
All
But then we get a break from the Jesus-iness for the
Yeah.
highlight of every VeggieTales tape, "Silly Songs with Larry," the part of the show where Larry sings a silly song.
part of the show where Larry sings a silly,
A silly song. And this is a long-ass song. This is like a 5-minute long song.
So fucking long. And I didn't remember this one. I remember a lot of the silly songs.
Well, like Water
with
Buffalo
Larry.
song
Water
is a
Buffalo,
classic.
Where's My Hairbrush?
Yeah.
The
I mean,
classics.
there's some... Did you know... Man, we can't do this for this podcast, but if I ever track this album down again, I will send it to you.
Dude,
is
there a VeggieTales podcast? There's gotta be.
I'm
right?
sure there is. There was an album that came out called Veggie Rocks, and it was all of the 90s Christian bands covering VeggieTales songs. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it?
Is there at least one cover of a Christmas song so we can do that?
Like Rebecca St. James, whatever. Sanctus Real does "In the Promised Land." The Newsboys do "In the Belly of a Whale." But the highlight, it's not even on. Oh, there it is. The Reliant K does "The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything" song, which is like the standout. And then the OC Supertones do "I Can Be Your Friend" as a ska song, as it was always intended to be.
Oh, yeah.
As far as I was concerned. But yeah, "Silly Songs with Larry," always a classic. I have the first two VeggieTales soundtracks on my computer, as well as the Christmas album that they released. And then I mean, those are like when I watched VeggieTales, so I'm like, I remember these songs. These are catchy. It's actually, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I think it's Phil Visor is the name of the guy, or Vesser, who created this show. Truly a triple threat here. A regular Trey Parker of the Christian Kids content, because he writes all the episodes, he voices most of the characters, and he writes and performs every single song in every episode. And every episode has like 5 songs in it. Like,
he's also a devout Satanist. I'm just kidding.
yeah, things took a real turn after VeggieTales went off the air. I know that someone was telling me that he got like really fucked over because like the cost of making VeggieTales was like stupid expensive because it was such like a small operation.
Yeah.
That
and
it
the
took
animation is not as bad
as you would think it would be.
As you would think, as some of the stuff that you would see around this time. I would argue that a lot of this animation was better than some of the short films that Pixar was doing at the time, at the beginning of their, maybe not the Bugs Life one, but like the one with the stupid fucking snowman and the mermaid, first one that they did.
It's comparable and it's good. I think I heard somewhere that financially he was recommended, hey, you should merchandise. You should put toys of these characters out. And classic case of like not reading the contract properly, like whoever he signed that contract with, let's say it was like Walmart. Essentially he signed a contract that said Walmart now owns the rights to all of VeggieTales. And just like completely fucked up. Like it was just like, and then he lost everything.
It feels like it makes sense though. Like if you could imagine any department store owning VeggieTales, I feel like Walmart are the
makes
people that
sense.
own VeggieTales.
It's a real mom. I want to rent Ratatouille. You've got Ratatouille at home type situation.
And it's Larry the cucumber with a fucking mouse nose.
Um,
and it's like Jesus serves the best tortellini or something.
yeah. I had another situation where I wrote, "That's a good joke," which is like my favorite note to sometimes write down. And it's right before the mousetrap line, but it's when they're on the sled, and it's Junior Asparagus in the front, Larry the cucumber in the middle, and Bob the tomato in the back, and they're yelling stuff, and then Bob just out of nowhere goes, "You guys know I can't see anything back here, right?"
The jokes hit so
The jokes
well.
hit really well. And I actually read Phil Vassar's book, which, similar to when I read Don Bluth's book, I was like, man, this is getting too juicy for me. But he talks about how like VeggieTales was definitely created between him and a friend who had a mutual love of Monty Python and wanting to capture Monty Python humor in like a kid's cartoon.
Yeah.
And a lot of that shows like the goofiness like the goofiness of the penguins. I'm gonna have a real like standing on a pulpit complaint session real quick though.
Yeah, go for it.
17 minutes into this 30-minute special is when we get the actual Jesus part, where Buzzsaw, Louie, and Bob and Larry and Junior show up at George the mailman's house, and he's like, "You guys want to know the true meaning of Christmas? Well, let me pull out this Bible and let me just read to you the Jesus story verbatim out of the book." And it's like, this shit never makes sense. Like, if you want it to get Jesus-y, like, that's fine. Like, literally just be like, oh, well, you know, we as Christians believe that Christmas is a celebration that Jesus came and the amount of love that he has. Well,
I mean,
like,
look at the way like Peanuts did it. I mean,
Peanuts
it was out of the
handles
blue.
Quick and simple.
But
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
The
It's
Bible
literally
version
a 2-minute
is so
bit.
convoluted. It's so long. It's
Yeah.
I'm sure that they are not reading this story for more than 45 seconds in this special, but it feels like 5 minutes because it
100%.
slows everything down to like a screech.
As a matter of fact, like I watched this last night and I can honestly say, like, off the top of my head, I remember everything pretty much up to this point.
Up to this point.
Up to this point. Like, if I always have the wiki up to remind myself, and I was like, I remember these bits, but like everything up to when they get to George the mailman's house, like I remember happening, and everything after that I was like, it really does bring everything to a screeching halt. And I feel like a lot of these episodes did that. They lot of
always
VeggieTales. Like my favorite is the first one because we're horror fans, right? The Frankenstein. That's gotta be the first
God
one,
is
right?
bigger. God is bigger than the boogeyman. That's
God
the first.
is bigger, and that fucking song's so good too.
That song's so good.
God is bigger than the boogeyman. It's such a banger of a song. But Junior Asparagus and Frankenstein's monster, it's so fun. But yeah, each of these episodes had such a good message.
Yeah,
there was always a moral message.
And I guess here's the thing. I always struggle with like what my identity is in my spiritual life because I don't like saying that I'm a Christian. Like I don't like saying that.
Yeah.
And I think that what it comes down to is just like I believe that what the values should be of Christianity, like love and compassion and empathy and
everything
making people feel
in
safe.
VeggieTales.
Yeah, the stuff that VeggieTales actually tackles is like where my belief has never left.
Yep,
like,
same.
And I think I've said this before that like, if you read the Bible and you get things out of it, that is awesome. Yep. I can read like Chronicles of Narnia and Harry Potter books and get something out of that too.
Yeah.
Just don't make it like my co-host on Horror Movie Night said this really well, where he said like, you can have your journey with Christianity and it can be this beautiful, like life-changing thing where you become a better person, or you can use it and become the worst terror that the world has ever seen.
Yeah.
And like, as long as you're not becoming as long as you're not using it to justify shitty, homophobic, racist behavior, then like great. I am glad that like people are able to find something in it. Like I think that it has brought me a sense of community with people, and it's allowed me to like work with the kids in the youth group and help teach them about how to like handle their emotions and like feel things. You know what I mean? Like, but like I struggle when it's like, all right, now we're gonna open up the Bible and see what Jesus has to says about depression. Like, it's like,
dude, did you? So my parents and I went to see my parents a couple of weeks ago, and the TV, there was a commercial that popped up, and it was like, I don't know what it was, but it ended with Jesus has depression too, and I was like, what? What is happening? But it was very much like that. Like, hey, we're going to pray the anxiety and depression away. And I'm like, that's not how this works. I would say that we have that underlying feeling when Grandpa George takes out the Bible because of the way that we see a lot of Christians today.
yeah,
You know, where it's like, he pulls out the Bible and it's like, oh Lord, here we go. Like, and it's, I don't know if I would have that same feeling if I didn't see a lot of what I see on like Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that.
No, it's definitely, it definitely represents a different time, in the 90s when we didn't see how bad, like I only saw Christianity through the lens of my own church, which was like, we had like tons of gay congregation members and like a nice diverse attendee. So I was just like, this is great. Everybody loves each other. This is phenomenal. And then like the internet shows up and I see what like Christianity has been to so many other people.
Yeah.
And it was like that. Honestly, it was college, going away to college and meeting people of so many different backgrounds and hearing what their experiences were. And I don't like patting myself on the back for anything, but I am very glad that at that time I had the maturity level to not fight with somebody about their bad experience with Christianity, but to just listen to their story and understand it. Because I think that that's where a lot of people get in trouble too, is like not wanting to hear that it can be bad for people and that it can be a bad experience.
And that's like my thing is I grew up, I went to Catholic school for 9 years, but when people are like, oh, so you grew up Catholic, I'm like, not necessarily. Like I did the sacraments and stuff like that. But my parents were never Sunday morning churchgoers.
Yeah.
Anybody that's practiced Catholicism, not going to church on Sunday is a mortal sin.
Oh yeah, you're going to hell.
Yeah,
Dylan,
exactly.
You're going to hell, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. You better watch more Veggie Tales on Sundays.
But my mom was always to me, she was like a rational Catholic, where she's like, she'd look at me and go, okay, Dylan, what is stopping somebody who's a complete like horrible person from walking into church on Sunday? Like, why would that make them more likely to get into heaven than us who live our lives according to proper morals? We're good people, but because we didn't go to church every Sunday, we're going to go to hell.
Yeah,
where this person who's a complete shithead goes to church every Sunday. And that was kind of my thing. Like, that's how I grew up Catholic.
Yeah. No, it totally makes sense. And that's kind of the logic that I've always seen it through as well, is like, be good. Don't worry about
be good, dude.
Don't worry about imaginary rules. Just be a good person.
Yeah, and now I don't know what I believe. Like, I really don't. I have no idea.
Sincerely the same. Sincerely the same.
Yeah.
We're making an ad.
Napping ads.
I hear that Gary Sinise is free.
Oh, okay, great.
He hasn't worked since 2020.
So, what would be the script that we would have Gary Sinise say for the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast?
Listen to this damn show. Damn it.
The Napping Through Happy Hour podcast, brought to you by Geekscape.
Real life, real drama, real time.
I'm Gary Sinise.
That's the ad. That's the ad. That's the ad.
So I do want to bring up one other gag that is, well, actually,
let's finish this up.
We're talking about Christian ethics, and I gotta tell you, I'm all about forgiveness.
Yeah.
Rewarding Mr. Nezer, who's about to murder 3 children, by giving him a Christmas gift seems like too much forgiveness too quick.
This always happened to Mr. Nezer.
Like, I was like, what the shit? Like, he's literally about to send them to the broken bridge tied up on a sled. Like, this is murder. He's about to murder them. I feel like that's hard to just quickly forgive. Now, as they're going down towards the bridge, this is when Buzzsaw Louie remembers, oh yeah, I've got a fucking buzzsaw for a hand.
Yeah.
I can untie us. Arguably the best joke of the whole episode is after he cuts the rope and he's like, all right, anybody with hands, we got to start tying this rope. And then it just cuts to the all armless, limbless VeggieTales staring at him for a couple seconds, and he just sighs and goes, that would be me. And he just starts tying the rope. And I'm like, what? I love those little like third wall breaks. There's at one point we'll do the VeggieTales Christmas album, probably
for sure.
like next year. And that will not be a live listen. That will be like I'll send everything to Dylan and he'll listen to it and I'll listen to it, because it's literally a like almost like a storybook album. Like there's every song is surrounded by like the story of them hanging out. But there's a joke in the audio that still makes me laugh, even though I don't see the visual gag, where someone says to Bob, like, hey, you're sitting at my spot. And he's like, no, I'm just standing here. And he's like, no, you're sitting. He goes, nope, this is me sitting. This is me standing. It's a very subtle difference. And it's such a good gag about like, how do you animate the difference between a tomato standing somewhere and sitting somewhere? But yeah, I got a little dark in this last part. Yeah. So Mr. Nezzer jumps on a sled to come and save these people. There's legions of penguins that are coming to save him. But they save themselves. So now Mr. Nezzer is speeding towards this broken bridge. And Buzzsaw Louie's like, I'm going to use this buzzsaw like it's a motor on a boat. And all this penguins, we're going to come and we're going to save them. And he goes they all go flying in the air. And then they form a chain of penguins with Buzzsaw
it's like the
Louie.
monkey game.
Yeah, and he grabs Mr. Nezzer, and the last penguin's feet are dangling on the bridge. And I wrote, I would love the ending where that last penguin's feet just snap clean off and they all fall to their death. Like the logic of a bunch of little penguins and a toy holding this very large cucumber up by their own weight is like chaos to me.
This is where you drew the line.
This is where I was like, I'm done with this shit.
This shit doesn't make any sense. I was fine with the Jesus asparagus.
But yeah, all in all, it's a good time, man. I don't know if it would be like a watch every year for me. I know it hasn't. But
this was fun.
But it's fun.
This was a fun watch. It went quick. I will say, so VeggieTales is not the easiest thing to track down. Like a lot of these things are up in the air. You had sent me a copy of this, and I had got it on my phone. But last night I was sitting there, I was like, I wonder if this is on YouTube. Like, it'd just be easier to watch it on my TV. And it is. And I was just quickly reminded of how scared I am for like the youth of today. Matt, there was an ad every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Every 5 minutes there was like some of them were unskippable, some of them were skippable, but it was literally like every 5 minutes was an ad for another toy.
Yeah.
Like another toy. And it's like and there wasn't even like advertising for it. Like it would just be the toy just moving around. It was so fucking weird. I'm like,
it's very
what is happening? It was horrifying.
I sent you a VHS rip, my dude. I was like, I'm going to pop this VHS. Dude. I'm going to digitize this thing, knock it out in 30.
It. I'm going to save that. I'm definitely going to save that because I do want to. I don't think this is going to become a yearly watch, but
it's good to have, man.
Yes, I watched this and I'm like, yeah, this was fun. This was a lot of fun.
I digitized the tape yesterday that we probably won't get into until next year.
Yeah.
And I've spoken about this tape. It was a 7-hour VHS tape of when my aunt taped every Christmas special that aired in 1987.
Yeah.
So I digitized that 7-hour tape. I then went through and I edited it into the different segments that she taped. I didn't bother making myself a copy of like Pee-wee's Playhouse or Garfield or like the stuff that I already have in other formats. And then after I had made all the individual chunks that I wanted, I went back and re-uploaded that 7 hours and made an hour and 20-minute compilation of every commercial that aired throughout that tape from 1987.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the 1987 Christmas commercials tape I have 2 Disney Wonderful World of Disney Christmas TV specials of
hell yeah.
like Our Magical Gift to You and like a
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse Christmas celebration where it's just like, hey, here's a bunch of Christmassy shorts from like the Disney Vault that we're going to just play back to back, and like the wraparound stories are like in the one it's Donald Duck is working at a gift shop and he's like every box is like a different short, and then the other one is like Chip and Dale just like ruining Donald's Christmas by like living in his Christmas tree and he's trying to get him out. I was like,
Sounds about
all
right.
4 of these are specials, just like these are all episodes just waiting to happen one day now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In my
I'm down
Dropbox
for
hard
all.
drive.
So before we wrap up VeggieTales, I have 2 questions for you.
All right.
Number 1, who is your favorite VeggieTale? Who is your favorite veggie of the VeggieTales?
You know what? I don't even think they show up in this episode. The French peas, man. The French peas
French
are
peas
so
rule.
good.
The French peas rule. My
That's
favorite,
that Monty Python coming out in like a hard level.
I think my favorite is Mr. Nezer, man. I love that big ass asshole cucumber. But he's my favorite in the thing that he's most well known for, and that is the bunny song. The
bunny.
bunny. Nope, I like my bunny. I won't eat my fruits or my veggies, just the bunny.
Which, you know what? You shouldn't be eating veggies in a world where vegetables are
Exactly.
living human
That's
beings.
cannibalism.
That's cannibalism. That's fucked
Now,
up.
my second question is, I don't know if he ever made a cameo in this show. What is Jesus as a veggie?
All right, so it's got to be one of 2 things, right? He's the only non-veggie, and that's
Okay.
why he's like the white Power Ranger in that sense.
The only he shows up like just looking like typical Jesus, and these vegetables are like, what the hell?
Yeah,
what
what is
that?
happening? Man, what is like the most superior vegetable?
Yeah.
Like,
And like, has there been a vegetable that hasn't been in VeggieTales?
maybe he's a tree,
Ooh, okay.
which is not a vegetable,
It's
but
not a
like,
vegetable. You are correct.
and vegetables don't grow on them, but like, I don't know. It seems.
Maybe he's a tree, which is not a vegetable. Like, what the fuck? Maybe he's a car. Like, I don't know.
Oh man, he's a
Oh
bag
my
of
God.
he's a
Maybe
bag
he's
of
a
gushers.
pineapple.
Oh, I
There's
can see him as a
fruits in this
pineapple.
too, right?
Yeah, the fruits show up
Yeah,
sometimes.
Fruits show up.
I don't know.
That's
man.
our question for the listeners. Anybody
Yeah, let us
listening
know.
this week, let us know.
Man,
What-
my favorite thing. Here's my predictions.
Yeah.
All right. This episode will do as fine as any episode does
Yeah.
for us when it's August. When November and December hit, certain episodes just like
Somebody's
rise.
gonna find this one.
I think that this is going to be one of those dark horse episodes where we're
Dude,
just like,
people love
why are so many
VeggieTales,
people
man.
listening to the VeggieTales episode? And man, will they be split? So like people are going to be like,
yeah. Listen, I want to. So the
this is
way
all
I-
in fun, people.
Yes.
Jesus,
The way I
Christians are
first-
not known
exactly.
for their sense of humor.
the way I first discovered Christmas podcasts before we started is I was literally like scrolling on podcasts, and it was like late November, and I was like, I want to listen to something Christmassy. So I just typed in Christmas, and a bunch of podcasts pop up. You can't tell me there's not going to be somebody that's like, I wonder if anybody did anything about the Veggie Tales, and they like type in Veggie Tales, and we're going to pop up. And I just want to say, where we're going to end this, I thoroughly enjoy the Veggie Tales, and I have no judgment towards people of Christian backgrounds, of non-Christian backgrounds. Believe what you want to believe, just don't be a dick about it. That's kind of been my whole thing. And as Kevin Smith said at the beginning of Dogma, God definitely has a sense of humor. Just look at the platypus.
Yeah. No, 100%. And yeah, I mean, I kept this VHS tape for 2 decades, so like obviously I'm into it.
Yeah, so we're listen, we talk about these things on this show. It's always in good fun, even the things we dislike. Listen, I deep down in my soul, I do have a soft spot for Emmett Otter, even though I said that I hated that. So just know, whatever we talk about on this show, it's always in good fun. It's never out of hate. It's always out of love. We love you. We love the Veggie Tales. And that's all I got, man.
Yeah, Dylan, you saved Christmas.
Oh, I am Buzzsaw Louie.
Oh, whoa, oh, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Have a happy holiday. Have a great holiday. Have a merry happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.